Hey there, guys. Welcome back to Reynolds Acres Family Farms. Today I want to give you guys a little bit more about me. That way you guys know me a little bit better. Go over what we got going on here out at the farm, and a couple plans we got coming into this fall, along with what all's been going on with that big boy there. And stay tuned, and we'll be right back with you. Alright, so first thing, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more about me. Kind of my background. I made a post on Facebook this week looking for more farm ground, and I was very surprised at how many people were supportive and excited about what I'm doing at 19 years old. So, a little bit of my background. I grew up till my sophomore year in high school in a suburban town, I'd say it's between a third and a half acre lot, little garden, couple dogs, and I went to high school in town. And one day my mom and dad decided, you know what, it's time to expand our limitations, go to a bigger piece of land where the dogs can run, we can have a bigger garden, and we can get away from our neighbors a little bit. So we moved out, and on the first drive out here, it was kind of astonishing, all the crop ground. I mean, I'd been around it a little bit. I was driving down the highway or whatnot, but seeing it every day, hitting the gravel roads, something about it just made me happier than I ever was in the city. So at that point, Dad was telling some stories on the first trip down here about how our great-grandfather was a farmer, and I kind of decided, you know, I want to continue on that tradition, that legacy, and that's what I've done here. I'm sitting out at the first farm I picked up in 2020 in the spring. It was my first crop year. This is going on crop year number 2 now, and I had this farm for crop year number 3. And basically, when I got out here, I found a large farmer that let me come out and volunteer with them through harvest, ran combine, ran grain cart. Then I asked them if they had a part-time position, as I was still in high school at that point. They said, we don't really have anything part-time right now, because they got a lot of kids on that farm of their own that are coming in after school and stuff like that. So I really didn't need anyone in that sense. So I was like, okay. And so I got online and started doing some research and found Family Farm Ag Services, doing some custom application work. And that kind of led into a little bit more spreading fertilizer, doing some harvest work, doing some planting for them. It also gave me the equipment to start my farm last year. I planted last year with no equipment to my name, and barely any money. I did last year on a very bare minimum, sprayed it twice, planted the seed, called it good, combined it, and that was it. October of that last year, came home a weekend from K-State and was like, you know, I'm going to run down to southern Missouri and look at a planter down there. Bought the planter, got it home, and realized it was too big for the tractor that my neighbor had I was going to be borrowing. So I was like, well, we got to sell it. And I started looking, and I was like, I bought this planter pretty cheap. It needed a little bit of work. I did some work on it, and I ended up turning around making $5,000 off of it. Made the $5,000, and what that did was that covered the trucking cost of hauling it to the new owner, as well as it covered my planter that I am sitting on now, which is John Deere 7006 row. Came with the precision corn finger meters and the soybean meters for it. And then it was harvest time. I have another farm about 15 miles south of here, and I called a guy and said, hey, can I get you to harvest this? And he goes, sure. He comes out and he goes, it'll be about $1,000 to harvest it. And I was like, all right. And I was like, I have $1,000 as soon as I get this crop turned in. And got the crop harvested and got my check from that, paid him. I was like, I got the money left over to buy a combine. So I bought the John Deere 3300 that's kind of behind me there. And we ended up harvesting this farm, 7 acres of it last year. And that was kind of the end of last year, and got the new planter. And then early this spring, my neighbor bought a new tractor, pulled the 7000 just fine. And I was like, that tractor, I can get the base model of it with no load or nothing like that for $18,000. I was like, we're gonna call John Deere and see if they'll finance it. Sure enough, John Deere was willing to finance it. I bought a John Deere 5045E. Pulls the planter like a champ, pulls my brush hog like a champ, pulls my baler like a champ. Baler, hay mower, and hay rake I bought all this year. Got them all at an auction. I don't think I paid more than $1,000 for any of it. For all of it together, I think I was right under $3,000. All works great. Got a lot of hay put up this year. Sold all of it. And then recently, I put on a listing on Facebook looking for more ground. And right now, I'm looking at about 135 acres going into next year. 135 acres. I've almost doubled or almost tripled my land from this year. I farmed 50 this year. And that was kind of the end of the year for me. We still got harvest to go, but that kind of catches us up to now. Got a few repairs to make on the planter coming into this fall, getting it ready for next spring, do some maintenance on it. I think we're going to probably put new disc openers all the way around. Probably some new bearings, clean it out, switch it over to corn. I know I did a video switching from corn to soybean. I'll probably do a video going soybean to corn. Not much different, but I'll probably do the video anyway just to get you guys an update video. As far as the combine goes, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, rebuilt a motor in it. Did that all myself. A lot of learning experience there. Ended up coming out that the thermostat housing cover is cracked now. So I need to, which explains where all my coolant was going that I couldn't find. Because when I started looking at it, I'm like, this thing holds 7.5 gallon. There's no way there's 7.5 gallon in the oil. And I have nothing in the radiator. So I had to figure out where it was going. Well, I put more coolant in it and started looking. And I quickly found that, well, it's all going straight out through the thermostat cover. So I ordered a new thermostat cover, a couple new gaskets. We're going to get that replaced. Get her top back off of coolant. And we should be ready to go to harvest, other than we got a couple guards and sickle sections on the head that need replaced. I wanted to get these updated to the poly fingers this year, but that didn't end up happening. Money was a little tight here towards the end of the year, so I just said it's all right, we'll get it next year. If I have this combine next year, I probably will. I'm thinking about buying a second combine for next year, being that I picked up the acres. The other thing I'm looking at getting here before harvest is a grain truck. Working with my banker right now, trying to figure out how we're going to make that all work. But the other big news I've had lately is I am now a FBN seed, chemical, and livestock supplies dealer. Basically, what I'm trying to do is bring the best the products I trust, to the people that I'm in my community. So these beans here are the Paloma 4.4 maturity enlist soybeans. Yield, they're looking like they're going to yield really good this year. Last year I had Taylor and Stein in this farm. They didn't do great. I think they ended up averaging 22 bushels. Ran pretty much the exact same program minus a little bit of extra fertilizer in the beginning, but hopefully they'll end up yielding out better. Down back behind the tree line down there, I have some Paloma 4.1s that went in behind my sweet corn. And these were untreated bean seeds, so I'm liking them. I'm going all Paloma soybeans next year, and I'm going all F2F genetics conventional corn. This farm will be in corn next year. I have that other farm I picked up last year will be in corn. everything else will be in soybeans. And we're just going to try and push yield numbers. I'm looking at trying to hopefully have about 20 customers on my portfolio here by the end of the year, looking at seed and chemical and livestock supplies. And I think that's kind of about what all I've got going on right now. Hoping that here in about, we're probably 3 weeks or so out from combining. I'm only combining 10 acres this year. I had 10 acres or 40 acres that ended up not making it. They were got way too much water in them, went underwater a couple times, and just not going to end up yielding out this year. Not enough for me to run the combine through it, turn it into crop insurance. So hopefully these 10, I have 7 here and a couple over at the house that hopefully I'll be able to get about, I think right now, last time agronomists came out, we were looking about 40 bushel on this farm and about 30 bushel over at the house. That should pay pretty good for me. And that's with minimal fertilizer and minimal chemical. They got sprayed twice. So next year we're going to start pushing some more fertilizer as we had the money for it. And hopefully next year ends up being a better year. 135 acres right now. Got some more ground to go look at. Hopefully we'll be right around 150 and we triple our acres for next year. But I wanted to let you guys know a little bit more about me, my history, my background, where I'm coming from, what I'm doing, what we have going on, kind of what plans are coming up here in the next few videos. And also wanted to let you know that we just released our website. Has a blog on it, all that. We're going to kind of try and post on there a bit too, get some good content out there for you. And we also got probably a couple cleanup videos around here getting ready to come out. Some dirt work. There's a waterway down there that I don't want to be a waterway. It just happened to be because it was too wet this spring to get the water or to get down there and do any dirt work in it. So we're going to try and get some done down there this fall. Got a tree I got to cut down at one farm. Probably do a video on it next week. But until next time, guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the farm next time. Have a good weekend.